Welcome back. It's time now for Media Watch with James Creedon, who's joined us in the studio. James, hello.
Evening, Nadia.
And we're beginning with the French media, who've been taking a look at the riots in the UK, obviously.
That's right.
It's a special angle, I suppose.
Right, because of course there were riots back here in 2005. There have been riots in Paris, I suppose, over the years. It's a city not unfamiliar with rioting. So Le Monde's London correspondent is looking into this, a guy called Mark Roche. And he says basically you've got a much greater level of social mixity in various neighbourhoods in London than you would have, say, in New York or in Paris, where socially things are a little bit more divided, I guess. And so he looks at how the city is laid out, and basically he says that there are some cliches surrounding analysis of what happened in London. That is that the rioting is happening in poorer neighbourhoods. He says not necessarily these neighbourhoods such as Tottenham, Hackney, Croydon, Enfield. They're not, just poor neighbourhoods. There is a degree of social mixity, and he says this social mixity works quite well in a period of economic boom or in good economic times, but in periods where there are economic difficulties or there's a recession, it's not so good, because it means that the wealth of some, I guess you could say, is rubbed in the noses of those who aren't so wealthy. The haves are much more visible for the have-nots, and that is less the case, I suppose, in a city like Paris, where the infamous banlieues are pretty much poor zones where you don't really
outside of Paris,
exactly, difficult even to get to as regards public transport. It's expensive for people in these neighbourhoods to come into the centre. And he also says that in New York, you have American-style ghettos, as he pointed out. That's less the case in London. So greater social mixity, which means you see I suppose the contrast between wealth and poverty more clearly, which rattles some when times are not so good.
And so do you think there'd be a possibility, or does it seem to there be a buzz on the idea that it could happen in Paris again, that it could catch on?
Well, that's a question that I thought would be actually more widely posed in the French media, but only RMC, which is the radio station here, seems to have been asking that question on its website. Now, they spoke to Etienne Liebig. Now, he's a social worker in the northern suburbs of Paris, in the 9-3, the 93 département. Now, he says there is a risk. He says that he's worried about this because he basically said he's never seen social inequalities of the magnitude that there now exist in France. He speaks about 12-year-old boys who have basically no illusions about their futures. They don't dream at all. They just are convinced that they're going to be in squalor and in poverty for the rest of their days. So he's very disillusioned, and he thinks that it could spread to France. Now, whether or not there is a clear link between what happens in London and what may happen, according to him, in Paris is unclear, but he thinks it could happen here. A guy called Kamel Hamza, who is a UMP party local politician, he's less convinced. He thinks that drug dealers have such influence on the streets of La Courneuve, which is his neighbourhood, also to the north of Paris, that they wouldn't allow any such uprising. So a certain amount of division as to whether or not it could spread to France.
Oh, we have seen demonstrations in Spain sort of crop up in Israel, so who knows?
Exactly.
Now, Facebook is in the firing line of Anonymous. Remember that international hackers.
That's right. They hacked Sony in the past. They've had various campaigns around the world. Now, in any case, internet users who say they belong to Anonymous, apparently they are going to destroy Facebook on the 5th of November. So they've given...
I'm so glad I'm not on Facebook.
Right. Well, this is the thing, I suppose. They are pointing out the issues of Facebook, privacy issues, the fact that they're selling personal information to government agencies, to advertising groups. They're allowing certain security companies to spy on their users. Well, spy, I suppose it's a bit subjective to use that particular word, but there is a big issue with privacy. And if we look at the ZD.net website, it's a French digital website, or about new technologies rather, they say that your privacy configurations, basically, even if you have the maximum degree of privacy on your Facebook page, Facebook, the company, still has access to those details. If you delete your Facebook profile, did you ever have a Facebook profile?
No, I didn't.
Oh, wow, that's pretty impressive.
I will not be having to get over an addiction.
Right, because in fact, people who even had a Facebook profile and deleted it, of course, Facebook still have access to that data. So yes, it is a worry. And so in order to highlight this issue, they're saying that they're going to destroy Facebook on the 5th of November.
Are they giving a date?
They're giving a date, strangely, because it allows, I suppose, Facebook to be prepared for the event. But many people are kind of suspicious of this. They say that, a lot of these people who work for Anonymous don't seem to be in agreement with each other online. Secondly, it would give a negative image for this organisation, because a lot of Facebook users might be a little bit peeved by that activity or that action. So some think that it could just be a publicity stunt on the part of Anonymous, also perhaps to raise awareness about privacy issues on Facebook. So Facebook users, beware on the 5th of November. That doesn't apply to you.
No,
So-
it doesn't. And we finished with a big internet star in France these last few weeks, a young man who escaped police detention in Besançon. Tell us about that.
That's right. Now, this goes back to the 25th of June. Now, he was being transferred from one area to another by police, and he fled. He managed to get free. A week later, a video appeared online where he started gloating, telling the police where to go, beat the police, all this sort of stuff, insulting them, telling them what he was going to do. Also saying that, he had food, he had drink, he had money, he had meat. He was saying he had meat, everything he needed. So just basically sticking one up, if you can say it that way, to the police. In any case, he's been arrested, as is predictable enough, seeing as he was being so provocative. Yesterday, he gave an interview to France 3 television here in France, and he seemed really worried indeed. I think we have pictures of that as well, that interview, where he looked really, there he is, very, very worried. And he said that it was in order to get his rap career to take off. He wanted to get publicity for himself in the hip hop sort of milieu, and he didn't want to offend the police at all. In any case, L'Est Républicain, if we just have a little look at their article online, this is one of the local newspapers. They're calling him the Besançon fugitive. End of the show. And they say this delinquent rapper only managed to deepen his problems with the law, make his mother cry, upset his family, thrill a few right-wing websites, and amuse a few yuppies or a few bobos. So basically a big fail, really,
Not
for
much
this
street
poor
cred
kid.
for him.
No, definitely not. I don't think the rappers will be interested in being his friend.
In his attention. James Creedon, thank you very
Thanks,
much
Niall.
for Media Watch. Now it's time to take a look at what's making a buzz on the internet.